If you ask women and girls what their main fear would be should the world end or society around them collapse, they're going to tell you that part of their fear is what men are going to do to them given the opportunity. And I think part of that is because women are walking around with the knowledge that what stops a lot of men from doing awful things to them is the idea that there might be a repercussion for them, for the man, if they were to be caught and found out, that society would know that they had done this thing, would judge them, that they would go to jail, like whatever. If you're a guy listening to this, I want you to think really carefully about some of the dudes that you know and what they would do to women and girls if they could guarantee that they would never be caught. There's a really poignant scene in The Walking Dead where one of the male characters says something like, if these guys find us, our men are going to be dead and our women are going to wish that they were. And as a former humanitarian aid worker, I was warned about this all the time. I was warned, like, if you go there and you are taken, they will kill the men, but what they will do to you is going to be so much worse. And also, as a humanitarian aid worker, I have been to countries and spoken to people who witnessed society collapse and the chaos around that because of like extreme weather events or natural phenomenon or even civil war. And the one thing that every one of those scenarios had was women and girls being raped and sexually assaulted. I went to Haiti in 2010 after the earthquake, and I also went to Pakistan after a flood happened in the same year. And in both countries, I spoke to women who were raped or sexually assaulted by men within the chaos, because men seized their opportunity to do something to these women and girls, knowing that it was highly unlikely, because it was chaotic, that they were going to be caught and held accountable for those actions. And the same thing happened when I went to Jordan a few years ago to speak to Syrian refugees. The women there told me of being raped and sexually assaulted when they were in Syria, when they were trying to escape the civil war, and also after they'd moved to Jordan and were living in refugee camps. Like, they were afraid to go to the toilet. They moved around in packs. Like, there was this knowledge in the back of their mind, like, there are men here who will seize the opportunity to do something to me because they don't feel like anything's going to happen to them as a result of doing that. Imagine being a man and only having to worry that the world might end or society might collapse, and not also having to worry about what the other gender will do to you if that happens. Like, some things are worse than death. And women are walking around with the knowledge that what keeps them safe is this tiny thread of a threat that men might pay the price if they do something like that. Once that's gone.
And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Kapitas, double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful like talking about that laboring by pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. You know, I just want to say in that video, amen, this is the same thing that the elders and apostles have been telling us since the beginning. Ever since I came into this truth, you've been hearing about that type of behavior that will be guaranteed in the time of Jacob's trouble, because scriptures speak on it. It's been happening in the past, you know, of different falls of Israel, you know. So scriptures say everything written aforetime was written for our learning. And I'm going to grab a couple of these scriptures, but I wanted to get these videos out of the way so you can have these visuals and understand that this is exactly the type of things that will happen. And it's not even going to be happening um like with for example, those natural events and disasters that that woman went to and witnessed, those aren't even as going to be as bad happening there as they will across the board in Jacob's trouble, man. It's going to be like this video I'm going to show you, you know, from the book of Eli, you know, Lord willing, I don't get a copyright strike, but this is the same exact type of scenarios that you're going to see time and time again.
Come here! Stay on the path. Stay on the path. It's not your concern. Stay on the path. It's not your concern. Stay on the path. It's not your concern.
And so, you know, that's just some visuals, because, hey, man, that's reality. You know, we're talking about reality here, not some movie that you wish things could be like. This is going to happen. This is Isaiah 13 and 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And what type of man? Not just any man. It's going to be an elect man, because an elect man, with the spiritual powers, is going to be able to protect himself, but also his whole house, whether his house be 4 or 40 in those days. The Lord is going to make a way that he's going to be able to, have all of the necessities, which is food, water, raiment, shelter, and that protection. But it's all going to be centered around that man. And if Yahweh Shemi Shai chose him to be an elect. This is verse, jump down to 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. That's right, taking babies' legs like they did in 1492 and smash them against a stone, right before their eyes. They don't care. Their houses shall be spoiled, because these men are going to be going through looking for any type of food, sustenance, medicine, drugs, whatever to get their fix that they need, whether they're starving or they're really, looking just to get, drugs, like these crackheads that are always on pills and mind altering substances. When they don't have access to those, they're going to go crazy even more than they regularly would, just having a anger moment, because they can have access to these things, and if you have them in your house, like let's say these people in the world, if they have like prescription pills, they'll straight kill you for it. Not to mention people are going to be looking for food, and when someone gets hungry, what do they call it now? I call it hangry, because people just get mad. And this is the point. And their wives ravished, and that ravished is just another word for graped, grabbed and graped. There's going to be a lot of that going on, and that's just a reality that, it is what it is, man. That's the judgment of the Lord. Like we always say that as an example, if you're gluttonous and you can't stop eating abominable food, then Lord is going to bring the balance to that and make sure that your fucking ass starves, So if you're an adulterous woman that likes to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry, the Lord's going to make sure you get all the attention you want. And in ways that you may not like it, just like that Book of Eli scene I showed. This is Lamentations 5 and 11, because I said everything written aforetime was written for our learning. Hey, this is what happens when the nations seized and destroyed and sacked our towns in the ancient times. This is, they ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. And that Zion is going into, Yasher Allah, ravish the women and the maids. And maids are just younger women. So you think they're going to worry about, oh, you're not 18 yet, I can't do this to you. No, man, when it's a lawless society, it's a lawless society. And that scene that the woman was talking about in The Walking Dead, that's very true, man. And it even showed a couple cases throughout the whole show of women getting grabbed and raped, man. So, these women really got to wake up, which we understand only the elect women will, of the times that they're going to be facing. This is Isaiah 32 and 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease, like these women that are just comfortable with Esau's protection. The police force is a phone call away. They are, the center of attention, and everyone's here to come to their aid in this society, be Captain Save-A-Host, But when that ends, man, these women are going to be freaking useless, man. They're not going to have the makeup. They're going to smell like shit. They're not going to have any feminine products. No man is going to want to stick his neck out, and try to save these women, because the Lord is going to put it on their spirit to not do so. This is, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. That's right, they're not going to have their, what's called their dainty things. The twinkling of the ornaments, going into, their jewelry, their nice things, their Louis Vuitton, their malls, their stores that they like to go to, just like a metropolis is wherever you go. They're not going to have that. And they're in this society, in this day and age, people don't know how to take care of their hygiene without running water, or how to, not get a nappy head, without having access to certain things. These people are just going to straight deteriorate. They're going to be looking like the Walking Dead zombies before they die. This is verse 11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Look, it says it again. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. And that is symbolic to, being sorry for what you did, and, literally, repent and mourn, because that is going to be, like, say, a weakness in that day. If you're a beautiful woman in that day, you're like a target that's number one of these men that are going to be running around, that's been fucked over by women, child support, burning for lust in a highly sexualized society, but they ain't get nothing. They're gonna make sure if they don't get nothing, they're just gonna fucking take some. And that's a reality that this woman saw when she was on her peacekeeping missions. It's something that's been shown in so many movies, in post-apocalyptic scenarios. So this is something that is guaranteed to happen, and only uh, a man of the Lord is going to be able to keep you safe in that day. Unless you're an elect woman that the Lord has planned to meet in the time of Jacob's trouble, an elect man. So if you're a woman that's planned to be given it to elect man, hey man, that's not really, how do you say, a gamble you are going to want to take. So you're going to want to be able to do everything that you can in your ability now in the time of peace before the war comes. Like the brothers always say, you don't get insurance after the accident happens. You get insurance before it happens. And doing right by your man, repenting, and making sure that you're being a virtuous woman is what's going to get you saved in that day. Because you have to do what you were created to do, and the man has got to do what he's created to do. We have different roles. No one is created for the same position. Everyone is diverse and different. Even when it comes to a man and a woman, they have two different jobs. But women in this society don't want to do that. You know, they want to be a Miss Independent bitch. They want to be a career woman, a businesswoman. They don't want to be mothers and wives and nurturers of the home. Because this society teaches you, to do the exact opposite. Just like that woman that got hit with a brick, or these female rappers, man, just talking about, degenerate shit. Those are the same people that are going to be, like this woman screaming out in the book of Eli, that scene. So, hey, man, this is supposed to put fear in you when you see these things, you hear these things. So, with that, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadah, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutations to Jehovah like Akim out there laboring by pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Like say DTA and a Baba Ball soon.